Yeah, hello everyone. I am Omega Zero here, and I am back once again. Now with the little social experiment that I'm testing on my family and friends.
Yes.
So I have my brother Atrocitus 6, a friend named Lonnie, and my dad Late Night CJ,
AKA Sweet Daddy in the streets.
and I'm going to give them a set of questions from Shin Megami Tensei 4, or basically set of situations. Some of them are questions, but this situations here where I'm going to determine their alignment on whether they follow chaos, neutrality, or freedom, or actually I shouldn't say freedom, I mean law, in each of these situations, and I'm not going to tell them what points they occur for each of these situations. Now, does anyone have any questions before we begin?
No.
No?
Not
If you ask a stupid question 6, then yes, Atrocity's response is appropriate. Now, here we have main game interactions, and each of these are going to determine what your points are. You are presented with a situation that comes with everyone who is becoming of age in the story. So pretend you're all 18, right? And you're going to be basically getting on the gauntlet, right?
I haven't been 18 in a long time.
Well, pretend you're 18 like your sister does.
Yeah.
I'm 27.
You are given a chance to extend your arm to start the gauntlet, right? Or you can choose not to extend your arm. What do you choose?
What do you mean, to set off a war or something?
Not to set off the war. Basically, the interactions that I'm giving you, the choices you make, these are situations you encounter in the game. Do you choose to extend your arm, or do you not choose to extend your arm?
What do you mean by that?
What is extending my arm going to do?
You're basically going on like the context is like you're extending your arm to test out to see if this device works on you. If it doesn't, it won't work, and basically you go back home and live the rest of your life. But in the situation of the game,
I'm extending my arm.
you extend your arm.
Yeah.
Me too.
Okay, that's extended arm, extended arm. What about you, Atrocitus? Leilani?
Yeah.
Alright.
You only live once.
YOLO?
Not in this universe.
No.
Not in this
No.
universe. Alright.
Right.
Alright, now the next situation. Basically, imagine you're on the place of like the main character.
Okay.
Your choices are completely separate from each other.
Right.
When meeting one of your friends who apparently you've seen in a dream before starting the gauntlet, right? Do you say he looks familiar, or you say we haven't met before?
Best
Looks
not to get
familiar.
involved.
You say he looks familiar?
Yeah. Because I'll tell you why, real quick. Because he might be an ally later on.
Leilani? You don't have to, you can just say he looks familiar or he doesn't.
He doesn't.
He doesn't look familiar?
You
Alright.
stuck up.
It's best not to get involved, but I'm choosing not to. I'm getting involved.
You're
I'm
gonna
saying
say-
he sounds familiar. He looks familiar.
It's someone that you see in a dream. He's not your friend yet, but he also succeeds in the gauntlet, right? Do you choose to say, hey, you kind of look familiar, because he's the one who brings it up. Like, have you met before? And then I got everyone's response.
Oh yeah, you look familiar, yeah.
You say he looks familiar? All right. Now you are each brought to basically meet the other apprentices who have also been chosen. Whether, like the choice earlier, I said extend your arm or not. Like you kind of still are. You're given the choice to extend your arm, but you still have to do it, regardless if you said no.
So what's the
So
point?
it's a choice. That's the whole point.
I had no choice.
You had no choice, but it affects your alignment. That's the whole experiment.
Alright, go ahead.
Now, when you're brought to the other groups of the apprentices, one introduces herself. Do you introduce yourself, or do you remain silent? Like that, CJ?
Well, let me ask you that. Was there a possibility I can get killed doing this?
In any of the endings, there's a chance you could possibly be killed.
I'm being silent.
You're being silent.
Because-
You choose to remain silent.
Because being all friendly and everything like that might get me killed.
Okay.
Being all friendly.
Leilani, do you
Mine-
choose to introduce yourself to your fellow apprentice? Okay. You choose to. Okay. Thank you for that. But what's your choice? You introduce yourself. Okay. And 6, what is? Do you choose to introduce yourself, or do you choose to remain silent?
I learned anything from Roblox videos, you gotta be manipulative in order to create the best advantage for yourself. So I'm being friendly.
You're being friendly. All right. I
I
guess I should have asked this earlier as well before giving the choices. But which way do you which alignment are you
Want to, in your philosophy and thought process, do you lean towards? Like I CJ, do you lean towards law, neutrality, or chaos? When I say chaos, I ultimately mean freedom of choice.
Chaos.
Neilani, neutrality, chaos, law.
Chaos.
Okay, I guess that answers my question for 6.
Yes.
Atrocitus? Neutrality. Okay. Now, we come to the next step. You have been a samurai, or basically like this kingdom's defenders, for about a day and a half now, and you were asked by your friends, does being a samurai come kind of naturally to you? Do you feel it's a worthy duty, or you don't have? This is where you're actually given a choice of saying, I don't know.
What's the question again?
When asked on the rooftop about being a samurai and your feelings towards it, you have the choices of it comes naturally to me, is a worthy duty, or you just don't have an opinion on it. Like,
I
you
got
don't know
the
how to
urge
feel.
to kill.
That's
I heard it was a worthy duty. Knowing the history of what the samurai were.
Okay. Neilani, what's your opinion on this?
I don't know.
Okay. 6, does it come naturally to you? Is it a worthy duty, or you do not know?
Fate. Worthy duty.
Worthy duty?
Wait, no. It came naturally.
It comes naturally to you. Okay.
Yes.
And Atrocitus? Worthy duty. Okay. Now,
Before you came to the Samurai Gauntlet, right? You came with a friend who also wanted to be a samurai. He actually actively trained his whole life to become this, but he ultimately does not get chosen. After becoming a samurai, you meet him with your new samurai comrades. What do you say upon meeting him? Do you recognize him and say, this is your friend? Or do you go and say, I do not know this man?
Recognize him as a friend, because if he was a friend before I was a samurai, he'd be a friend afterward.
okay.
I'm not gonna switch up just because I changed positions in life.
Neilani, do you say you recognize him, or do you say, I don't know this man?
I recognize him.
6, what's your choice?
If there was a third choice, neither of these choices I would want, because if I say he's familiar with me, that gives him the opportunity to get close to me. And a lot
He's your
of
friend
stories,
before this.
in a lot of stories, when someone doesn't get something, they take any way that they could. So I think he might try to kill me.
So you say you don't know him?
This is not a Roblox video.
This is
It's
not
not.
D&D.
I
I'm
know.
giving you the choices.
This doesn't happen in Roblox videos. I
Okay,
know.
so
What do you choose? You say you recognize him or you don't?
I say I recognize him.
Okay. And Atrocitus, what is your option there? Recognize him. Okay. Now, after the situation and kind of like going on your holiday when you meet your friend, you're basically not allowed to leave the town in which you're the defenders of.
Right.
Even though you basically go out and defend each village, but it's really only in a time of crisis. You're basically a very slow military force. Now, you're coming to your hometown when you notice in the distance of that night, it's been set ablaze.
Okay.
So when you go out and try to explore and save as many survivors as possible, you meet your friend.
Right.
In his distraught state, he went to a Sabbath where he learned of literature.
Right.
Literature in this world is basically just old texts that from the previous world that people don't happen to remember.
Right.
So, in doing so, he says, in you becoming a samurai, I have embraced the demonic. And in doing so in his state, he realized what horrible thing he's done. And he asked you, to finish him off. Do you go the route and finish him off, or do you spare him in the hopes that he can survive?
Is
I
this the,
had a feeling he would become evil.
He's not evil.
this is the friend that
This is
wanted
the
to be a
friend-
samurai, couldn't do it.
Because he wasn't chosen.
So then he gets possessed.
Mhm.
sets the whole city on fire.
Your hometown on fire. Not the city.
Realizes that he messed up, and he's like, he wants to do that. What's that? Harukaru or
He
something?
basically Harakiri. He wants you to kill him. Like, can you just put an end to me? Because like,
You gotta do it.
you're like, you gotta do it.
Yeah.
You choose to finish him off
I'm finishing them off.
I'm gonna
because
make
he's
it all
asked for it,
back.
or do you? That's why I asked.
Because for him, there might be some honor for him, and in his death that he couldn't. You know, now that he realized, he's like, dude, this is I'm sacrificing myself because I've hurt so many people. All right, dude, this is your choice. Let me help you with that.
That's why I said like. That's why you always wonder is like, do you want to finish him off, or do you try to find a way to spare him?
Finish him off.
Leilani, what's your choice? You can go into detail if you want.
I'm finishing him off.
Finishing him off. All right, 6.
I'm finishing him off. I'm finishing off like Sephiroth did when he jumps from the building.
Okay.
Okay.
You can go into detail,
most
but
people-
usually not
most
to how
people-
you want to kill the person.
Most people want to die in a blaze of glory.
Okay. And Atrocitus, what's your opinion on this? Spare him. Okay. Trying to help you're doing so. Ultimately, though. Oh, sorry.
He realizes what he's done is wrong, and you save as many people as you can. The only thing that you can't do is hope because your hate begets hate. So by you killing him, you're setting an example for other people.
He's asking you to do it.
I know.
You're in the hopes that you can try to save him is what you're doing, right?
Salvage him as an individual.
Well, ultimately, though, despite that, he unfortunately perishes to his wounds. He's like, he still says thank you at the end of it. He's like, you tried to save me, or you honored my request. He still thanks you at the end of it. Now, after this situation, you're basically learned of an additional person who is going around and passing this literature. And the literature is what is turning these people into demons, which is just the umbrella term because it does sound better than monsters. So, the monastery asked you to basically go on this quest because you find out who is responsible for turning the people into demons. The person who's cloaked in ebon armor, who's just given the title of the Black Samurai, because they basically do the same thing you do. It's just that they happen to wear black armor.
Okay. That's racist, but we'll go with
I
it.
just
How's that
told you it's
racist?
black armor.
Yeah,
Now-
They could have called him the Shadow
Yeah.
Samurai.
Now the monastery basically sends up people on the quest to go after this samurai because they're disturbing the peace in the kingdom by turning people into monsters and having them kill each other. Now, when given this task, you're asked by your friend Walter, where do you think you should go through with the monastery request, or if it's against like the code of the samurai, because you're not supposed to venture into the area where the monastery is sending you.
Right.
So, do you think you should go along with the monastery's quest, or do you think you should say, this seems like a problem?
Which one? Because I'm like the. If you're a samurai, you're got to be a principal, right?
It's like you're for the people, by the people.
But you serve the king.
You don't specifically
As
serve
a
the
samurai?
king. In this world, no. You
Okay.
serve the people of the country.
Okay. Now, which one is me going against the oath I take?
One against the people. The one going against the code is where you say this seems kind of off listening to the monastery. I'm telling you which one is kind of like against the code, but I'm not telling you which choice is which.
I'm not going against the code.
You're not going against the code?
No, this is I'm totally cosplaying in this one.
Okay.
So, although I'm not having a costume on, but
You're role playing.
I'm role playing, and I'm not going against the code.
Neilani, do you go against the code? You think the monastery's request goes against the code, or you think you should do it for the safety of the people?
The safety of people.
Safety of the people. All right.
I have a
6.
question.
All right. What's your question?
Am I getting paid for being a samurai?
Yes.
Okay, then I go with them. This is the money
The monastery
I live
doesn't
on.
pay you. You get paid by
Oh.
the people who give you.
You're not a mercenary.
You're a samurai. Okay, what I'm asking is like, do you go with the quest because it's like the right thing for the people to track down this person who's harming the country, or do you think it because it goes against the code of where you're supposed to go that you shouldn't follow through with the quest?
I want to go on this quest.
You're gonna go on the quest. All right. Atrocitus, what is your opinion on this? Do you go along with the quest, or do you think it goes against the code?
Because the whole point of being a samurai is to help people. So by you following the code, you're willingly ignoring people who could be in potential danger.
Fair enough. Now, you're told about this legendary monster that basically guards the way to what the people of the land you're living in called the Unclean One's country.
Yes.
This is basically a forbidden land that you're not supposed to go to, which is part of the code.
Right.
And this situation, you're kind of forced into doing something, unfortunately. You're not really given a choice.
Okay.
This situation, you are forced to fight a legendary demon known as the Minotaur.
Hey, that man, horse,
Yeah.
person thing.
Yes.
I guess.
You are all in the option forced to kill him.
Right.
So that means I do have to add a subtract points based on what you do here. So I'm just letting you all know.
Okay. And what is the Minotaur doing that's wrong?
The Minotaur is not doing something that's entirely wrong, but he's blocking your way into what you're doing for the monastery. So you do have to kill him.
Okay. Gotta go.
That's unfortunate. I'm just letting you know, some options right here, you have to do them.
Gotta go.
Now, it's actually a while, but in doing so, after defeating the Minotaur, you come to the Unclean One's country, the land of Tokyo.
Tokyo. That's racist. You're saying Tokians, I guess.
Tolkien's.
I'm just telling you what the people of the land that you're living on top of is basically they're living right on top of Tokyo, and they don't know about it. They just know it's the Unclean One's country. It's basically like this mythical, fabled land. Like until you became a samurai, everyone here thought that demons didn't exist until the day they became a samurai.
You're calling the
So,
Tokians unclean.
Hey, that's racist for what you just said.
You know what?
And B,
I don't know what they're
shut
called.
your mouth.
I don't know what they're called.
Basically, when you're on the way to the Unclean One's land, Tokyo, the monastery also asks you to pick up mystic relics of and try to bring them back for the use of the people of the Mikado, the land you live in. Now, when you're basically in a little resting stop, one of your friends, Jonathan, asks you if you share his view on picking up relics from the monastery. He's like, oh, it helps the people of Mikado. We should pick them up. Do you agree with his view, or are you not so certain with his view? Like, he says, should we pick up these like mystic relics because it's basically
I
just.
saw him robbing these people.
Tokyo is in a state of kind of like Mad Max in a way, where people live in like little pockets, little sects, and they all try to live and survive in this harsh land populated by demons on the surface. So that's why I'm asking, do you think picking up relics to help your land is sharing your view on? Do you share it with Jonathan? That's what I'm asking.
I gotta stick to this code, man. Right now, I'm liberal as me, but as the role of what? Because I extended my hand. So if I'm extending my hand, I'm committed to it.
So do you take the relics for your people, or do you think?
I'm not a thief. I mean, I'm not a criminal, and I feel like taking these relics, because they are relics, to these people, to take them to give it to some other people because I'm this master killer samurai, I can't do that.
So you don't agree with taking them for your people. Okay.
I'm not taking from one people. I'm not robbing Peter to pay Paul, man. I mean,
Peter to pay Paul.
I understand what you mean. Neilani, do you share Jonathan's view on it, or do you think you don't agree so much with the monastery? You don't agree with the monastery? Okay. 6. What's your opinion? Do you take the mystic relics for the people of Mikado, or do you leave them where they are because you don't agree with Jonathan's viewpoint?
I'm going rogue. I'm not taking the relics.
You're not?
No, I'm
Okay.
going rogue.
Atrocitus, do you take the relics for the people of Mikado? Or
The monastery requested, or did
The monastery.
my friend tell me that the
Your-
monastery requested?
The monastery requested it when they asked you to do it on your hunt for the Black Samurai. but Jonathan agrees that we should do it because it benefits the people of Mikado. So do you share his view? You do it to benefit them? You take their mystic relics. Basically, like, everything that you see in our house right now is stuff that would help them in a way. There's like furniture, power lines. They figure it out how it works, but that's why I'm asking, do you take the mystic relics? It helps with bettering the life of the people in Mikado, or do you just leave them where they were and you think the monastery's up to something by asking for them?
I don't really leave it there because, for one, it's already a it shouldn't be there in the first place. So by bringing it back, it's only going to bring more attention to me and people that we went there on purpose. And also, the monastery not really stating their attention to saying something to benefit the people, but why bring that specifically to the monastery anymore? Because those are the people who really can make things better.
Yeah, I will tell you this, the people of Tokyo, some of them are obviously hostile, some of them aren't.
Every place is like that.
Well, let's just say when you live in a land with demons all over the place, you're gonna meet a few more hostile people than you are people who are generally like they're polite, they're cordial, but they're not. Alright,
Oh wait,
moving on.
can't the people in like the Mercado just
No.
go all Flintstones and just carve rocks into furniture?
They're not, they're like,
If I had to give them a comparison, it's kind of like Europe during the British Empire in a sense. Like, they don't have like settlements all over the place, they just have their kingdom, but that's where they live. It's kind of like based off that, if I had to give the comparison. Now, in your hunt for the Black Samurai, you heading toward the place, just kind of looking all over to try and find clues on where this person is at. By the way, it's a female. When asked, the Black Samurai. When asked by this lady on your hunt for the samurai, she asked like, hey, where are you from? You're given the option to tell her where you're from. Like I said, Mikado is on the surface of Tokyo. Do you tell her that you are from Mikado, or do you just choose to remain quiet?
For me, do I know her like this?
You just met her. You're looking for information on where the Black Samurai.
I'm not letting her know nothing.
Not letting her know nothing.
I'm bound by a code of secrecy and honor. I can't just be randomly because I don't know where her allegiance comes from. I might tell her I'm from this outlying city, and she'd be like, oh, and then, right there all on the bed.
Alright, I'll tell you this. She's just dressed as a normal schoolgirl, so.
Just because she a schoolgirl don't mean she ain't a killer.
Alright, Naomi.
Excuse
Do
me.
you tell her that you come from the surface? You do? Oh.
Maybe she knows where the Black Samurai is. Maybe.
Samurai.
Whatever it is.
Atrocitus. Do you tell her that you come from the surface, or do you remain quiet?
Why don't you dress like a schoolgirl and be nice?
I say it's like Mad Max in this situation.
Just like on Men in Black. Remember, he's like, what is this girl with the quantum physics books out at 12 o'clock at night with
basically,
monsters?
look,
Yeah.
when I say it's like Mad Max, it's more like kind of like a giant apocalypse area in the sense like people are still dressed like regularly. I say Mad Max because they're like there's different sects of groups. Like you have a group called the Ashurikai, which is basically like the mafia there. You have another group of Hunter Association where they basically just take jobs working for whoever. And then people in Mikado are like their own sect with the samurai. So that's why I asked, like, do you choose to remain quiet, or do you tell her, like, hey, we come for the surface, we're looking for this person? About your age.
About my age.
About 18, 17. That's right. That's why I say she looks like a typical, like, Japanese schoolgirl.
Stay quiet because for one, she's my age. Two, she's just like a typical schoolgirl. I'm assuming that they don't have typical schoolgirl clothing in this world.
Well, in Tokyo, like, it basically imagine what people dress like normally, and that's how Tokyo looks like. You have basically eastern city of Mikado who looks like they came from like the 1500s, but then you have people in Tokyo who look like where we dress now, like pretty casually and normally.
Yes, well, I guess say something.
You say that you come from the surface? Okay.
Say, man, you were supposed to just write down his answer.
I am writing down the answers. That's why if he wants more, that's why I say if you want more information about the situation,
Okay.
that's what I give, and I gave him more information.
No problem.
6. Do you tell her that you come from the surface, or do you remain silent?
I kill her.
You can't.
Dang
Every
it.
situation I give you, and if I give you those, what I ask is what you get. Stop trying to pretend this is D&D.
Don't tell her anything.
Don't tell her anything, you
Can't
remain
know
the
the truth.
Thank you.
Okay. Now,
That's why I'm trying to kill her.
Basically, in order to find more information for where the Black Samurai is located, you're kind of strong-armed into working for the Ashurkai, this Tokyo's mafia. And you're like, alright, you want to go off and try to find information on how to get here? Alright, you gotta do this job for us. In doing this job, you're tasked with basically fighting a zombie horde. And in doing so, after defeating all the zombies, this former hunter comes along and is like, what the F did you do that for? We're living under the tyranny of the mafia. Why'd you go and destroy all their jobs? Basically, all the monsters I created. So in doing so, this man turns himself into a demon, and you're forced to fight him. And after defeating them, you're given the option to finish them off, or to allow them to live and run away. What do you do?
And they're demons.
They transformed themselves into a demon. He was like a human 5 seconds ago, before you decided to beat the crap out of him.
So now beat
Yeah.
the brakes off of him.
I
You
finish
killed
him off.
Okay. You finish him off? You got 2 for finishing him off. Okay.
Well,
You
you
can
know
go.
what? Go ahead.
No, you can explain yourself.
I want to say finish them off to protect the people,
Mm-hmm.
but these people I have a mission. So they're kind of like inconsequential. It's like, look, you come back, you're going to have to save me. I can't just be randomly smoking people all over the place just because they get in my way.
So,
Because I'm not heartless, but at the same time,
I
if
am.
leaving them alive doesn't obstruct what I'm called to do,
it doesn't obstruct it. Like, you never see this person
I
again.
defeat them and keep it moving. I'm like,
You don't kill them, but you just defeat them.
I just defeat them and keep it moving. So
Okay.
when they come back, there's going to be trouble.
Okay. Atrocitus 6. What are your choices in this?
Uh,
Batman, he never killed the Joker, and he kept continuing to make crimes and killing people, so I'm killing him.
Okay. Atrocitus said 6 answer. What do you
so
choose?
the hunters live off the Ashurai's quest, right?
they live off everyone's request. If a normal civilian posts a quest, they do the job for everyone. They're not completely heartless, but like every organization, you got good and bad apples.
So they, after you fight,
You're given
turn
the
back
option.
into human,
No, he doesn't turn back into human.
stays a human.
He stays a demon.
Probably she saw but at some point it's going to become a problem for somebody else, and that would turn into a job.
So, just let him live?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you said, we never see him again. Never.
Never see him again.
No.
Now, okay. Now here's something that's interesting. This is technically completely optional. So, if you choose to answer this question, you will be gaining points in a certain point of your alignment. You could choose to completely skip this question. So, I'm gonna ask this right now. Who's going to answer this question?
I'm answering the question.
Okay, so we got 3 people. You're not going to answer Atrocitus? You don't have to.
What is it for?
This is to basically gain you more points. This is something in the game that is entirely optional. If you don't even go into the room, you never encounter this question. So do you choose to answer this question or no?
Alright, take the question.
You can still get the question, but you don't have to answer it. If you choose not to answer it, I'm basically gonna act like you didn't go in the room. Okay, when speaking to a woman in basically like near the area in which the Black Samurai is located, she is basically on death's door. And she would ask this question to anyone who would come into the room in her final moments. She will ask you if you're to tell if you are a human or a demon. And her response does change depending on what you answer as.
if you do her voice, can you do it like?
No, she's on death's door. I'm not doing that. Now, if you can choose to skip this question, because this question is entirely optional within the story.
I'm answering everything. Go ahead.
Okay. She asked you, if you come into the room, like I said, she's on death's door. She would ask this question to anyone who came in. She asks, are you a human? Because she can't see well. She asks, are you human or are you a demon?
She's blind.
No, she's on death's door. Her eyesight's fading. She's like going into the light or whatever. That's why I'm asking, what do you answer the question as? Do you answer as a human or you say you are a demon?
I finish her off.
It's your choice. It's entirely your choice. And no, you can't kill them.
I tell her I'm a samurai.
So you answer as human or demon. Those are your two options. That's what
Samurai
I'm saying.
doesn't tell her anything.
I'm bound by honor.
Okay.
I'm not sitting up here killing. I'm not sitting here running around lying and stealing either.
Neilani, you say human. All right. 6. What do you answer? Human or demon?
I lie and say demon. Just to make her scared in her last moments. I'm just kidding.
So
I
human or demon?
Monsters.
So,
Yeah, demon or monster?
Demon.
All right.
I want to see what's
6. What is your Atrocitus?
I want to see what happens.
What is your response? No answer. You're choosing to skip it. All right.
That's why I chose demon. I want to see what happens.
Like I said, this is entirely optional when you go through it. Now, you finally come to the Black Samurai. You have the answer. Like she responds like, "Oh, thank goodness! Like at least I'm in the presence of one of my own." With the final response like, "Oh, if you say human." He's like, oh no, I knew the demons would come for me. They're just probably gonna kill me, eat me. So she just accepts her fate at that point, but you leave the room. And if you go back in there, she's not there, so that means she died, she passed away. Regardless of your choice. That's why I asked.
See, she's gonna die anyway.
Yeah, that's what I said. You make her feel comfortable or you feel like, oh crap, I'm gonna die.
I'll let her go in peace.
Yeah. So
She's gotta
we
die.
have come to find the Black Samurai.
Right.
And now, she asks you a set of questions. She's basically mocking you like, poor ignorant sons of man, knowing nothing about the world you live in. She's basically mocking you this entire time that you had every single encounter with her. And during the conversation, she asks you a question. If you could live in Tokyo, do you think you could? You're given the choices of, I could manage it, I could never, or I do not know.
I'm the best samurai, so I say I could.
You say you could live in Tokyo?
Yeah.
I say I don't know.
You say you don't know.
It's a different set of rules that I come from.
Leilani, what is your choice? You say you agree. I think you could live in Tokyo. You say I could never live in Tokyo.
I could live in Tokyo.
You could? Okay. Atrocitus, what is your choice?
I'd say I don't know because, well, at any point, the mafia could be like the actual
Right.
person.
You don't have to accept requests.
No, I know I'm saying, but like, well, they could kill you or they could make you kill other people. So at that point, are you really
Write it
even
down.
living?
I'm writing down the rules. I'm writing down the
Are
choices.
you really even living or are you just existing?
Like you're surviving.
I
Yeah.
have a question.
Yes.
Is the Black Samurai magical?
That's something that I cannot answer at this moment.
She's gonna say, oh well, now you live in Tokyo forever, and there's a lot like
Now,
So what's your answer?
he already answered. He said he could live there.
Okay.
All right. So right after this, right after the question, the Black Samurai disarms herself, willing to go by herself without a struggle. Your response: do you arrest her or do you refuse to arrest her?
Yeah, kill her.
No.
Hold on. So the Black Samurai.
Is willing to go in peace. He's like, all right, fine, take me. You're not going to listen to whatever I say anyway, so just take me. So
And is the Black Samurai evil?
she's the one responsible for the death of your friend and potentially your parents.
She gotta go.
She gotta go. You arrest her.
I
I
don't
can't
want
kill her.
You can't kill her, but you gotta arrest
I'm
her.
arrested.
I'll become
Yeah.
Batman.
Arresting. 6. What is your choice?
I become Batman. 'Cause my
do
parents
you
are
arrest
dead.
her? Do you arrest
Yes.
her? Okay.
I punch her in the face before I do
You
them.
can't punch her, but
I'm just like,
all right.
I'll punch her with my sword. Right
It's
there.
like, you just hit him with like the base of the sword, like.
Atrocitus.
What do you choose? Do you choose to arrest her or do you refuse?
I would say I refuse to arrest him. The only reason being is because I gave my friend a second chance at redemption. So by refusing to arrest the Black Samurai, I must give them a chance at redemption, or at least explaining myself.
Alright.
So you believe in giving a person an opportunity to change the wrongs that they did.
Or at least explain why.
Okay, so once they explain.
Place to stop.
Okay, continuing forward, we're going back to the question of where
Hold on,
we're
you ain't got the question there. If they
like, this is what, like, no, what you were asking.
I'm asking. So, if they explain themselves and apologize while doing it, right? Like they said, that was a long time ago. I was in a different place. I was a different person. I did what I thought was wrong, right at the time, ended up being wrong. That's not me, who I am today. You would let them walk. If they were sincere.
Again, that doesn't absolve them of the crimes that they did.
Yeah.
If they, like in this question, I'm refusing to arrest them purely because, well, for one, they're saying like, all right, well, I'm gonna just go. So they're admitting their own fault. But the reason I would say refuse to arrest them is because they still haven't explained why, and given any reason or any sort of background information as to why.
Okay. That's fair enough. Alright. After bringing the Black Samurai back to the Eastern Kingdom of Mikado, and where she proceeds to S-talk the entire kingdom when put on for public execution, she says, like, it doesn't matter if you kill me, I'm just gonna come back anyway. So she says
What,
that.
keep her alive.
Well, you have no choice in this. The country executes her, not you. The country, like the monastery executes her. So after this quest, you are brought to the monastery to basically put on another one. You are to rescue a set of VIPs. Now this, you have no choice. You have to rescue them. I'm just telling you all that now. You have to rescue them. It's the only option. It's not like you can't go up. It's like, she said to rescue them, like, oh no, the demon, they killed them in the heat of the moment. You can't say that. You're forced to rescue them.
So, with this, I'm going to have to add / subtract points to everyone because your only option is to save them.
Okay. So what are my options here?
Your options here is that you have no choice. Like, you have to rescue the VIPs. Like I said, how I said there's
Are
certain
these Tokyo VIPs or my people VIPs?
your people VIPs.
Okay, I'm doing it.
That's why I say like you have to do it. Like,
Yeah, they're my people. I'm bound by the people.
Okay.
So
So now
that's why I couldn't be no samurai like that, because it's an honor system. You're bound to this honor, so you almost have to go against your personal beliefs in order to complete the job that you've sworn an oath to.
Now, for the next set of quests, you're going to enter. No, like that's why I said everyone has to do it.
Okay.
Like regardless of you can make a personal statement right now of like why you would think it's the right choice or against them, but you have to do the choice regardless. Is what I'm saying. That's why I said certain options in this. You have to do this. All right. So going on to. You're basically going to enter the area where it appears that the Black Samurai has resurrected. This place is called Ginza. You are sent there by basically the mafia leader, like, hey, we captured your friend, do what we say or else we're gonna kill him.
Right.
So he sends you there, he's like, alright, you're gonna enter this place and you're gonna say you're gonna do something. Now, when you enter this area, Ginza, you come to the guard.
Right.
Now, you have 3 options, but really it's only 2.
Okay.
Because the option to walk away from the situation, it's just like you have to come back and do this later.
Right.
So, you have the option to say, hey, we're here to come kill your boss, Yuriko.
Right.
Or you could say you want to join the Ring of Gaia. To basically like stealth your way in.
Okay, and these are enemies.
The Shurikai and the Ring of Gaia do not get along.
Okay, and which one am I?
You're the
aligning?
samurai, you're only working with the Shurikai because they captured one of your men.
Okay, so I'm working with them under duress. I really have no real allegiance to them other than the fact that they captured one of my men.
Yeah, that's why I say when you have the choice of going here, you can say you can just file admit like, hey, I'm here to kill your boss,
Alright.
or you can try to stealth your way in and say I'm here to join.
I'm stealthing my way in.
Stealthing your way in.
Stealthing my way in.
All right, 6. Yes, what is your question?
Is our friend okay with that?
You have to. Whatever option I give you, you have to answer that option. This is not D&D. I told you that 3 times already.
D&D.
Dungeons and Dragons. This is not Dungeons and Dragons. I told you that 3 times. What the options I give you are the options you get.
Sneak in. I want to be Batman.
All right, you sneak your way in.
Batman, same.
Leilani, do you sneak your way in, or do you just flat say I'm here to kill your boss?
Flat out say I'm here to kill your boss.
Okay then. Atrocitus, what is your option? You just if I say I'm here to kill your boss, or do you say, are you trying to stealth your way in?
If you say you're here to kill the boss, do they attack you?
They test you if you say you're here to join, but they flat out just attack you if you say you're here to kill the boss.
So basically, there's like.
They're testing you one way, and they're trying to kill you the other way.
What is the test?
The test is that they challenge you. It's like, oh, you're here to join? Well, we only let strong people join, so I'm going to test you to see if you're worthy of joining.
Like, we can join?
When you stealth your way in. That's what, like, they test you on the stealth.
Can I change? I'm stealthing my way.
You're
in.
stealthing your way.
Yeah.
You still have to fight, is the thing.
Yeah.
You're stealthing your way in. Alright, you have a choice change here. So, do you stealth your way in, or do you attempt to fight? Or do you just flat say, I'm here to kill your boss?
Just stealth my way.
Just stealth your way in. Alright, alright. Now, you're given... But when you basically get into this place, you're going to go to a hall, and they're going to give you a test of ethics here. The test of ethics involves certain 3 questions that they ask you. I don't remember all of them off the top of my head, but I do remember 2 of them.
Yeah.
With the first test of ethics, they asked you, in the event that you have everyone in the kingdom to call them forth for a game, do you allow everyone to play for the sake of equality, or do you exclude the one tall person to make sure that everyone can play fairly except for them? So it's like if you ask 6 to play with you in like a game of basketball.
He knew what it was.
You knew what it was, so you allow everyone to play?
Yep.
You allow everyone to play, alright.
We don't have our participation trophies. You win or you lose. Dubs and L's.
Do you allow everyone to play regardless of something they can't control? Okay, then. I'm not even gonna finish, but okay. 6. Do you allow everyone to participate in the game regardless of stuff they can't control? Or do you exclude the people who are exceptional for things that they can't control, i.e. their height?
This is starting to get a bit confusing. Can you explain this?
Okay, so let me say this. Say you have a game, right?
Yeah.
Say everyone in the game is around your age with the exception of Dad. Do you allow Dad to play for the sake of equality and fairness? Or do you exclude Dad so that you guys have a fair chance?
Are there teams?
It's for a game. They don't explain if they're teams or anything.
Can we form alliances?
What did I tell you? This is not Dungeons and Dragons. Stop trying to ask that question. If you keep doing this, I'm gonna kick you out. Alright.
Okay, I'll let Dad play.
You would let Dad play?
Yeah.
Alright. Atrocitus is going off to get a drink real quick, so he will be back. Is there any further questions about the situation before we start? Before? No? Oh jeez, everyone's just here walking around. Atrocitus! Do you allow everyone to play regardless of things they can't control, or do you exclude the people who are exceptional in certain ways they can't control?
Is it all a collaborative game, or can I like
It's just-
separate people up into groups? And
It's a game, but they don't explain further. They just say, do you exclude the tall people, or it's for stuff they can't control, or do you allow them to play regardless so that everyone has like a equal opportunity to play regardless of some people being basically more gifted than others?
I'm gonna say I'll allow everybody to play because, again, not everything is based off of just being gifted. It also comes, from working hard.
Mhm.
So, for people who are really passionate about playing the game, work hard enough, they can perform over anybody who's like exceptionally good at one thing.
So you allow everyone to play. Okay, so I have like the questions. I'm trying to.
You calculating?
I'm still calculating. I'm trying to find like the actual questions. The second one, because I remember what the third one is. No. I remember what the second one is now. The second question is: someone comes from an outsider comes to your land, bringing new technology, and being able to change your way of life. Do you allow this person to stay? To allow the new technology to basically change tradition, or do you banish the outsider? Not like in a violent way, but just telling them like, hey, can someone pause that please? Because a 6, can you pause the TV?
Turn it off.
Or turn it off. You banish that person to basically say, hey, you can't up here change it.
It's going to keep going here in a second.
You banish that person for saying like, hey, no, you can't stay here. You're going to change our way of life.
They got to go.
They gotta go. You don't want them to change your way of life, even if they bring that new technology that makes it easier to live.
Who do we know? How do we know that the technology that they're bringing is for the benefit of all? It could be like what's his name on Invincible, the guy that took body parts from people and made these robots, if you will.
Cyborg.
Yeah, to take over. Dudes are like, oh, I got this technology. All you got to do is just look into this little eye scanner. Brain gone.
Neilani, do you embrace the new technology?
I ban it.
Ban him. All right.
Yeah, you got to get out.
6, do you banish the person? Don't give a Dungeon and Dragon answer.
Say, I'm gonna kill him.
Or do you embrace change and allow him to stay?
This reminds me of a situation from this one Netflix show.
Okay.
Where this one person, they brought in this one professor, they brought in all this new
You
technology.
didn't ask for a story, you asked for an answer.
What? And they ended up
Yeah.
being evil. So, I let him in.
You let him in?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have faith in him.
Alright.
And that's the second best to killing.
Atrocitus, do you allow the person to stay? Or do you banish them to keep their tradition?
I allow him to stay because many of the traditions that even in today's world are bad or exclusive or like they just put it on people or shit on people. So that's why I said, if it betters everybody or if it's just technology that can, really benefit.
So
Then
you. Sorry.
why not let them stay?
You know what I'm saying? All right.
If they're being productive or if they're being beneficial in any way, then what's the harm of letting them stay in
Okay.
this scenario? Because there's no side effects or anything.
Okay.
Now we go on to easily the most objectively question that's hard to answer. You have a loved one who's basically in a coma and they have no way of waking up. You went through every single option in hopes of trying to get them to wake up, but they can't. Do you allow them to perish and hope they die a natural death, or do you keep searching for new ways to try and make sure they can wake up?
How long is it before they die?
I just gave you the situation. Stop asking for additional information. I can't answer that because they don't give me any additional information.
So you said we've exhausted all possibilities.
They're basically in a vegetative state. That's what I said. Do you, in hopes of one day trying to find it so you keep them alive? Or do you allow them, basically do you cut off life support and do you allow them to die a natural death?
Life support.
Life support? Alright. And Milani? Life support. Atrocitus, 6. Life support, or do you try to allow them to die a natural death?
Is it a painful death or
No. They're in a vegetative state.
no? No, I mean, like, if you were to keep them alive, would it be painful?
Like, no, they're in a vegetative state is what I mean. You're trying to find a way to basically wake them up from like a coma.
I mean, I guess I'm saying it wrong. Like, not painful, but are they like physically
Aware.
degenerating?
No, like I say, it's basically like they're on life support. They're keeping them alive while you're searching for a way to wake them up. That's what I mean by like life support. And letting them die a natural death, because like, do you hope to find a cure and keep them alive, or do you just say we exhausted every option and just let them pass?
Keep them alive.
Keep them alive. All right, stop it.
What are you doing?
Finding the 6. He's playing the. What did I just
There.
say?
I'm done.
All right. What's your choice then? 6, life support, or do you allow them to pass?
Don't say kill them.
That's what I was gonna say.
Like the natural death is just like stopping the life support, but that's why I'm asking.
Both. Until if I can't find anything, then
All right, I'm cutting you out now.
But no, don't cut me out,
Just say
please.
life support. 'cause
Life support or
it
no?
comes down to it.
No, like
No life support? Alright. Now, after doing this, Walter basically splits off for a bit because he's kind of mad at you because you're supposed to arrest the Black Samurai. Like, he has hopes that since he's basically born into the low-born, like the lowest rung of society, he wants a world where only like basically like the strong can shape it how it works. Because he basically grew up his entire life being pushed around by the upper class and being trampled upon because he was like on the lowest rung.
wasn't
So
that
he
purple
walks off.
character in Dragon Ball?
Hey, sit down. But after he runs off, you find him again, and he wants to ask this person a question. Too bad you only need a certain way to get in, and you have the way. So I'm telling you right now, this is a choice you have to accept and do. So I'm actually going to have to add/subtract points depending on how you answer, depending on the answer. But you have to help him. Like you can't just ignore him and say, "Oh no, I can't help him," and just go in by yourself. Like no, you have to help him. Okay. Now, this man, Fujiwara, he knows of the Eastern Kingdom of Mikado, and he's asking you, hey, do you think we can ever coexist? Do you think there's the options of, do you think it's, I don't see why we can't coexist, or do you say it's an impossibility of mixing two different cultures, being Tokyo and Mikado?
Now, what type of danger are we in?
You're no danger. This man's just asking you a question.
So coexisting doesn't bring us in any danger.
No.
I say we can coexist. Like I said, I'm not just randomly smoking people that I come across. Oh yeah, I don't like your face. Yeah, you gotta die. No.
Just
no.
like me.
Yeah, I ain't doing
Yeah.
that.
You were me.
And on. Do you think we could coexist, or do you think it'll be an employee? You say yes, okay. Atrocity 6. What are your things? Do you think that the two kingdoms the two lands could coexist, or do you think it would be an impossibility for the two lands too?
Possibility. Don't let the outsiders in.
Okay then.
I don't mean that in a political way.
Yeah, I
Just
know
so
you're
everyone
young.
knows.
You're young, I know that. Atrocities. Your opinion.
I would say coexist because it doesn't say cooperate. It doesn't say be kind to one another. It's just simply coexisting with one another. You both exist on the same plane. You both are deserve the same amount of respect. Not so much that you have to agree on everything or you have to be friendly with everybody. You just have to exist with one another.
Okay. Alright. So, in doing so, after the event with this, you are going to basically sneak into an area that's headed up by the mafia.
How many questions are on this test,
A
man?
lot of questions.
Yeah, we're like up to like 70.
Yeah, I know. That's why there's a lot of questions. That's why it's a long game. This is why it's an experiment. So, this will be the last question before we officially just like take a break on this.
Okay.
This boss that guards this area is under the Shokai against his will, and he asks you a question. what he asked you basically near the end of the fight whether you can try to reform Tokyo for the better without the mafia, without the Ring of Gaia. Do you say you'll reform it? You'll try to sustain the status quo, or do you just not have an opinion on like you say I do not know?
These aren't my people.
This is the people of Tokyo. They're technically not your people. Do you think you can change the system so it's better for them, or do you think you'll just basically
Are
say,
they being oppressed?
in a sense, yes, by the Ring of Gaia and the Ashurakai, which is the mafia, and then you have a cult.
And it's just me.
The dude asks you a question, like, do you think you could change it and reform it?
By myself?
Like, you kind of start the movement to reform it or change it, but you're kind of by yourself at first. You're not gonna go in there.
I don't have an opinion on this one.
No opinion. All right.
No. You're not gonna. We used to call those dummy missions. You're not gonna just send me. Oh yeah, I'm about to go change the world and get my dumb self killed. You know what I mean?
All right.
Not having no idea how deep these people are. How many people will be like, okay, I got your back, or how many people will be like, man, you must be crazy if you think you're gonna take on the mafia, the Sher Cottons, and whoever the people is.
The Kettles.
Yeah, I'm not going. A one-man army. That's only
Well,
in
you
movies.
kind of are a one-man army at this point.
But I have a code. I have oaths.
That's like-
I'm not just out here just killing people just for the sake of doing it, just randomly help people. You know what I'm saying? I got other things. Prioritize.
That'd be like
Right.
1 Litten versus like 1,000 Incineroars.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, Neilani, Atrocity 6. Do you attempt to change Tokyo for the better? Do you think you'll just keep the status quo and let it just be how it is, or do you just say you don't have an opinion on it?
Don't have an opinion on it.
No opinion.
I'll
From Neilani.
change the world.
You'll change-
One step at a time. I shall be the face of a revolution.
Okay.
All right.
Gotcha.
Atrocitus. What
I
did
like
you
that
do?
answer.
You don't know? You have no opinion on it?
I'm the only one that.
Because there's probably many people who thrive on anything, or many people who enjoy it right now.
Basically, the people who are enjoying it are either with the Ashurakai or they're with the Ring of Gaia. One's a cult, one's the mafia.
And
I'll be the mafia.
well, it's kind of like what happened in World War II. With Germany. It's in the sense you're Germany, but you know, not in the string attached, but you're fighting a war on 2 fronts.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you're saying, like, you won't perform it, you'll just leave it as it is, or you don't have an opinion?
I don't have any opinion.
Okay.
Because if I would, then it would benefit everybody else. But if I were, it would be extremely hard.
Alright.
I'm the only one with an opinion.
Well, they all have it.
I'm the only one who actually chose something.
Yeah,
I'm-
that's
I'm
why.
choosing-
That's the beauty of
Well,
this.
how
so
about
far.
this? I'll say I choose not to get involved.
You choose not to get involved, you'll just say, that's what it says. Like,
You gotta pick your
the
battles.
the answers are, I'll reform it, I'll sustain it, and I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, so I'm just gonna tell you which way everyone is leaning, but I'm not gonna tell you. Like we're not done with the questions. Like there is an entirely set of
So
questions.
as of right now, what would we be categorized if we were to stop right there?
If we were to stop right this second, Neilani, Dad, and Atrocitus would all be law aligned.
Wait, what about me?
What do you think?
Chaos!
Yeah.
I'm the chaos!
I go
Your
more
law, everyone here except for 6 is law aligned at the moment.
I am the chaotic one. I shall rule the world.
But we'll leave it there, and we'll come back next time with this to finish this.
Yes.
So that'll be it for now.
Yes, sir.